Hi guys, hey, Al Simmons here. What this is right here, this is the Branson, Missouri News front page. And that's me on the front page right there. And as you see, it says $3 million bounce. And what was the $3 million bounce about? Well, back in 1998, Todd McFarlane decided that he wanted to purchase a piece of sports memorabilia. And what that sports memorabilia was, Mark McGwire hit 70 home runs in 1998. It was the all-time home run record. Up till then, I think the record was 61, and people were just going like, wow, that record will never be broke. When McGwire hit 70 home runs, Todd McFarlane couldn't resist the urge to go, wow, all these balls have been hit. What's happening with these balls? It'd be interesting to see if I can get a hold of one. So what he did after he saw number 70 get hit, he got a hold of a couple people, and lo and behold, I'm going to just cut a long story short. What I have right here, what I'm showing you, this is the actual baseball that Mark McGwire hit for number 70 home run. Right as you see on there also, right after the Rawlings, Major League Baseball put that number 73 on the ball. The reason that 73 is on there, no, Barry hit 73 home runs, but that didn't happen until 2 years later. What this 73 represents is they couldn't have fighting in the stands, and everybody that came to the game, the outfields were packed, the bleachers, the stands, because everyone said, if I catch that ball, I'll have a chance to sell a piece of sports memorabilia and, maybe do something for myself. What ended up happening was the ball boys, what they would do is, Major League Baseball, they had the ball boys bring the balls out to the umpire before McGwire would hit. These balls would have these marks on there, be it 72, 73, 74. If he would have hit like the first ball in that at bat, I think was a foul ball. That might have been ball number 70. Somebody actually has that ball at home with that marking on there of number 70, but the ball means nothing. It is just a regular foul ball. When McGwire hit this particular ball right here, it had the marking of 73 on it. He hit it into his box out into one of the suites out in St. Louis. Phil, I'm not sure what Phil's last name is, but a guy named Phil was the guy that caught this ball. The ball ended up going to auction. This ball sold for $3.5 million. This is the highest piece of sports memorabilia ever purchased in the world. Hornus Wagner's card made it maybe about to 2.3, but this particular ball right here, it is the all-time most expensive piece of sports memorabilia. But why did Todd pay $3.5 million for just one baseball? The collection together has 10 inside of it. But what his thinking is, people said, why would a guy pay 3-point-something million for a baseball? He's an idiot. How in the hell how do you do that? Well, let me tell you, folks, I was right there the day of the auction, standing in the office, looking down at him. I was actually filming. He had drawn a couple lines. We're at 1.2 million. He said, I don't want to have to go more than that. And as it kept going, the bidding, it got so crazy. Todd was a phone bidder. There was a guy actually sitting out at Sotheby's at the auction, sitting in the auction house, who Todd was bidding against. The crowd was playing off it. He was playing off the crowd. The crowd was screaming. Todd could barely hear what was going on. He was trying to tell the lady on the other end, up the ante, up it. She couldn't hear. She was saying what? Because he wanted to give the impression to the people that were sitting there that this guy has deep pockets, and no matter what happens, he's just going to keep going up until he wins this thing. Well, what we found out later was there were a couple people sitting around the guy who was actually doing the bidding at the auction house. So they were going, oh, go ahead and up it. I'll give you the money. I'll add $100,000. So he was getting help from within the house. When it was all said and done, we owned Major League Baseball and society's all-time most expensive piece of sports memorabilia. Only thing bad that happened out of it, where Todd spent $3 million, people said, why would you do that? Well, here's the philosophy behind it. Before we actually got started with buying the baseballs, Todd had put out the comic book Spawn. What he wanted to do was make toys. He wanted to make sports toys. No one's just going to be able to walk in and go, hello, Major League Baseball, I just want to make sports toys. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to do something to get attention. And so by buying the baseball, it turned a lot of people's heads, including Major League Baseball, and said, who is this guy that could spend this kind of money on this? And what it did, it opened up doors for us. So where some people, like I'll say the Super Bowl. At the Super Bowl, you would spend $3 million for a 1 minute, 30-second spot. And when you got done after your commercial was over, they'd hand you a DVD, hand you a tape, and go, thank you for coming. Todd spent $3 million on a baseball. It got us into Major League Baseball, turned their heads to us. It allowed us to do action figures for Major League Baseball. After we got to figures for Major League Baseball, it led to where we are now doing the sports figures for football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. We've been doing these figures for all 4 sports for going on 10 to 12 years now. This never would have happened if Todd wouldn't have made that bridge and purchased the baseball. But it was one thing to have this historic piece of memorabilia, but something happened that really changed a lot of the uniqueness and the coolness of having it. And his name was Barry Bonds. What Barry did in 2001, Barry came out and he hit 73 home runs. Now, we thought number 70 would never be broke. Major League Baseball, once again, came out. They put the markings on the ball. You see the 42 on there. And they had the little mark on the back right here, official authentication for Major League Baseball, that is the ball. We actually got a deal on this ball right here. Todd didn't even plan on buying it. He thought, well, for a little publicity, he was going on a trip. He was going through Dallas. ESPN called him and said, hey, the ball's going up for auction. If you want, we'll go live with it, and you can we'll set you up in the studio in Dallas. So I said, you know what? Free publicity. I'm really not actually going to buy the ball, but I'll just turn a few more heads my way, and we'll see what happens. Well, once the bidding started, I think it was at 100,000, got to 2, 3, and he was like, well, no problem. It's still a deal. I'll just, and he kept bidding, going up. I think it got to 450,000, and when he got to 450,000, all of a sudden the room went quiet, and he didn't hear anything, and he was like, whoa, where's the next bid? There was no next bid. We had just won for $450,000 Barry Bonds number 73 home run ball. Only thing was, before Todd had left the house, his assistant was with him, and she had said to Todd's wife, don't worry, no matter what happens, we're not buying that baseball. We're not going to buy the ball. Well, Todd looked over at her, and she said, what's going on, Todd? What's happening, Todd? And he gave her that look, and she had known what just had happened. He ended up being the owner of Barry Bonds' 73 home run. So now he has not just 2 of the all-time great home runs hit in the game, he also has this home run ball right here. And what this has the marking of a 49 on there, and what Major League Baseball, for a long time, in 98, McGwire and Sosa were in this race together, and Major League Baseball didn't really recognize Sosa at first. And then when he hit 66, when he got to like 65, they said, hey, we better start marking Sosa's balls also, because they weren't sure who was going to win this home run race. Was it going to be Mark or Sammy? Because Sammy actually took over the lead for I think he had it for 3 minutes. Sammy had the lead in the home run race. So this was one of the most historic home run races to ever go down in the game. Today, people talk about it in a different light. We now know the game was tainted a little bit, and the balls lost a little bit of their vigor, a lot of the excitement behind them, because it came out and major people found out that there were steroids involved in the game. The performance-enhancing drugs had entered into the game. Today, we now know, as you can see, the game has been cleaned up. What's the most home runs being hit now? 52 by Batista. Even Little League numbers, the home run are down. I would even go look at coach pitch. I'll bet you the numbers are down. But for the most part, this was a time in the game. This was an era. It was something that happened. We'll probably look back on it years from now and go, wow, that was like one of the most exciting times in the game, and also one of the saddest for what the total outcome again. Once again, this is Al Simmons. Leave me a comment or subscribe to my channel. Thanks for listening. Bye.